Fox News Alert, we got more UFO files. The Department of War dropped a third batch.
I couldn't help at one point in my discussions privately with General Secretary Gorbachev, when you stop to think that we're all God's children wherever we may live in the world, I couldn't help but say to him, just think how easy his task and mine might be in these meetings that we held if suddenly there was a threat to this world from some other species, from another planet, outside in the universe. We'd forget all the little local differences that we have between our countries, and we would find out once and for all that we really are all human beings here on this earth together.
Out west, UFOs were spotted near a sensitive national security site back in 2023. Eyewitnesses described seeing orange orbs like this. They called it a mother orb, and then Mother would launch smaller orbs, one after the other.
Child Industries in 1974 through 77, I met the late Dr. Werner von Braun in early 74. At that time, von Braun was dying of cancer. But he assured me that he would live a few more years in order to tell me about the game that was being played.
In our obsession with antagonisms of the moment, we often forget how much unites all the members of humanity. Perhaps we need some outside universal threat to make us recognize this common bond. I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world. And yet, I ask you, is not an alien force already among us?
In Colorado Springs, a former U.S. Army intel officer and 4 members of his unit saw a UFO over the Cheyenne Mountains. They said it looked kind of like a potato and was somewhat translucent with a slight shimmer.
The strategy that Werner von Braun taught me was that first the Russians are going to be considered to be the enemy. In fact, when I met him in 74, they were the enemy, the identified enemy. Then we were going to identify third world country crazies. We now call them nations of concern.
Arlen, sir. Good morning. Good morning. In less than an hour, aircraft from here will join others from around the world. And you will be launching the largest aerial battle in the history of mankind. We can't be consumed by our petty differences anymore. We will be united in our common interest.
Now, we want to get to the bottom of these mysteries, and now experts are saying they're closer than ever to solving it. Maybe soon the president will tell us we're not alone.
I think maybe I'd answer it this way. I keep, in my frustration sometimes, you know, actually, if you count some of the things going on in smaller countries and all, there have been about 114 wars since World War II. But I've often wondered, what if all of us in the world discovered that we were threatened by a power from outer space, from another planet? Wouldn't we all of a sudden find that we didn't have any differences between us at all? We were all human beings, citizens of the world, And wouldn't we come together to fight that particular threat?
And the funniest one of all was against what he called aliens, extraterrestrials. That would be the final card. And over and over and over during the 4 years that I knew him and was giving his speeches for him, he would bring up that last card. And remember, Cal, the last card is the alien card. We're going to have to build space-based weapons against aliens. And all of it, he said, is a lie.
Hi, my dear friends. Good morning from Japan. Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, just like Truman says, because this is like a Truman show. Every week, a different psyop. So I hope you guys are doing fine today. I do have an interesting show. I want to present some stuff that has been happening the last few days, actually, since Thursday. A lot of things going on. So I want to share with you what I have I have been saving for a couple weeks. Actually, last week I wanted to touch on this, but unfortunately I had some audio problems. But I think we are okay today. So shout out to all of you, Yuko. Hello, Yuko. I think we are at the very end of Satan's Little Season, Yuko. I believe we are. I thanks for being here to Earth Whisper. You did an excellent job interviewing the pilot, Phil Marshall. Excellent job. You did great. Thank you so much. Tammy is in the house. Thank you, Tammy, for being here. First time, long time listener, but first time I've made it to the live stream. Appreciate your content greatly. Thank you so much, X baby. Thank you. Thanks all of you who are here. Happy Father's Day, Aris. Thank you so much. Hello, everybody. Crystal's in the house. Matthew Hakim. Thank you all for being here. We do have some interesting stuff going on right now. So, as you guys know, the World Cup is happening, and why is this whole World Cup being promoted so heavily? It's being promoted really heavily. So, what would be the reason? Well, something's going on right now and has nothing to do with soccer. They want to take advantage of the situation, of course, to bring upon us another deception, perhaps the biggest one so far. So the World Cup has nothing, this World Cup 2026 has nothing to do with soccer, everything to do with the deception, everything. And I'm going to share this with you today. So let's go ahead and get started. Let me share my screen. And should be good to go. I hope you guys can hear me well today, because last week really was my fault or my fault. I mean, I have done this for a while, but I made a mistake, last week. So, all right, so let's get started here. As you guys know, I do subscribe to the idea that we are living in Satan's little season. I have been a dispensationalist for all my life, ever since I became a Baptist. That's the only thing I learned in school, in church. But upon researching, thanks to my friend Yuko, who helped me see through it, I have come to the conclusion that we are in Satan's little season, time of deception, And this time of deception seems to be ending. So are they preparing the world to go to war against the New Jerusalem, the celestial city coming down from heaven? Are they preparing to attack the camp of the saints? Is this the end of Satan's little season? So Brazilians woke up Saturday. Actually, it was from Friday to Saturday around 2 a.m., 3 a.m. There are phones in Brazil, all over Brazil, different states. And I have a video here I'm going to play for you in just a minute. Start buzzing really loud, a different sound, a different kind of alarm. And on their phone, that's all the message I translated into English here. But on their phone, there was a extreme alert. That's what was written, extreme alert, misanthropy. So most of Brazilians, myself, we went to the dictionary to find out what was going on, what this word means. So misanthropy is a general hatred, dislike, or distrust of the human species, human behavior, or human nature. It stems from a critical view of humankind's flaws and moral failings. So the message is displayed on Brazilian cell phones on the very early hours of Saturday morning was like from someone who does not belong to the human race. And that species, whatever is sending this message, is being disgusted by the actions of humankind. So at the same time this message went out, people went outside. Some people actually reported having problems like heart attacks or something, And on Saturday morning, it was all over the news, all the news, And this is Brazilian news, of course, on Saturday morning. This is just a couple of them, different channels, but they were talking about this alert, extreme alert message that arrived on Brazilian cell phones. Immediately, the Brazilian civilian defense came out and they published a message saying that they did not send this message, that they were investigating who was behind it. And of course, in my opinion, they will say that they cannot identify the hacker, so to speak. He must have been from another planet or another dimension. So people went out when the message was displayed on their phone. Some people went out and they filmed what seems to be orbs, as you watch it in the introduction, those orange orbs. People saw these orbs in the sky. That's around, early mornings. And that's the extreme alert, that was buzzing on people's cell phone. So of course we are flat earthers. We don't know. We know there is no space. Everything is a psyop. But 99% of the people don't know, and they will fall for the deception. Everything's being orchestrated. There are people behind all those messages, of course. I know aliens, but they are making people believe that these messages are coming from extraterrestrials. So you have the Steven Spielberg that came out in June, just this month, just in time for this big deception, just prior to the start of the World Cup. And the targets, of course, are Christians. Most of the people who are skeptical are Christians, but most of them will fall because some pastors are plants. They are sleeping cells. They are Freemasons or Jesuits, whatever. They're just sleeping cells waiting for the moment so they can act and tell their congregations that perhaps they will say Jesus does not exist, aliens were the ones behind the creation and everything. Those are sleeping cells. That's what I'm saying. Dispensationalism and those pastors who do not preach flat earth biblical cosmology, they are in on it. So I'm going to play here the audio according to people recorded. This is what the sound they heard.
Defesa Civil, Misanthrope 4.
4
Defesa Civil, Misantrope 4.
So that's what they heard on Saturday morning, the very early hours of Saturday morning, this weird message uh, on their phones, no warnings prior, not saying that was just a test or nothing. So people literally, some of them went to the hospitals. They were nearly having heart attacks. Perhaps there were people who had heart attacks. I don't know. I heard that some of them went to the emergency rooms with symptoms like heart attacks. So they are doing this to scare the people and just in time for this World Cup. So you saw at the very beginning, I played this long intro where there are people are saying. So what I'm doing today, I'm just telling you guys, sharing the information that I've been getting. Not saying that this is what they're gonna do. I don't know. I'm just as clueless in this as anybody. You know, I'm just here in my apartment trying to understand what's going on. And are they planning a fake alien invasion now? Well, we've been hearing this for many years. Since I came to Flat Earth 10 years ago, I've been listening to talks about Project Bluebeam. And you heard the Werner von Braun nurse saying, well, remember, Carol, the alien card is the last card and it's all a deception. Are they willing to bring the nations together for a war? So most of this talk came out a couple of weeks ago because a Brazilian psychic said that she saw that a giant spaceship was going to uh, fl- uh, not float, like, float, I guess, fly over a stadium during a World Cup match. Now, do I believe this psychic? I think I heard her, I watched her video. I think she's another agent just spreading misinformation, but I'm not going to discard that psychics do not exist because in Act 16, and it came to pass that we went to prayer, a certain damsel possessed with the spirit of divination matters, which brought her masters much gain by soothsaying. The same followed Paul and us and cried, saying, these men are the servants of the Most High God, which shewed to us the way of salvation. And this did she many days, but Paul, being great grieved, turned and said to the Spirit, I command thee in the name of Jesus Christ to come out of her. And he came out the same hour. So are there people out there who has the spirit of divination and can say the future? Absolutely, I believe there are. Is this lady one of them? I personally don't think so. I think she is not a psychic at all. I think she is some sort of agent. But is she telling something that she was handled down by, these governments, these lying governments, to say the name of, you know, her profession, which is a psychic by profession? I don't know. But I'm going to share some things with you. All right. So, according to this lady, on June the 24th, there will be a match, it's World Cup match. Now, the Super Bowl in the US is seen by perhaps 100 million people. But you guys have to understand the World Cup, especially when Brazil is playing, easily 4 billion people around the world is watching that match, whatever. So according to this lady, who I don't think is a psychic, but just a puppet, on June 24th, there will be an event, there will be a game in Miami. Brazil is going to play Scotland. And according to her, there will be some sort of manifestation, alien craft orbiting or hovering on top of the stadium. So why June 24th? Well, June 24th is recognized as the birth of modern speculative Freemasonry. On this date in 1717, members of 4 existing London lodges gathered at the Goose and Gridiron Ale House, declared themselves a Grand Lodge, and elected the first Grand Master. This established the first Grand Lodge in the world. Masonic elections. June 24 serves as a traditional date for many local lodges to elect, install, and celebrate the new leadership teams. But what called my attention is this one here. On June 24, 1947, American businessman and pilot Kenneth Arnold made the first widely publicized UFO sighting in U.S. history, an event that birthed the term flying saucer. It all started on June 24th, 1947. So is this June 24th, 2026, does it have anything to do with their plans, which they have been planning for many decades, 70 or 80 years? We don't know. We totally don't know. But again, sharing why Scotland supporters are being blocked from US World Cup. So for some reason, they don't want people in the stadiums. They don't. Many people are saying, well, the games, the stadiums are pretty empty. Why don't they want people in the stadiums? So this is like 1 week before the Scottish team members travel to the West, they changed the rules, and many people will not even be able to travel to the West anymore to see this game on June 24th. FIFA just priced everyone out. Soccer fans are skipping the World Cup over extreme prices. So why don't they want people at the stadium? Well, perhaps because whatever they are planning to do, if they are planning to do at this time, remember, there is 2026 World Cup and 2030 World Cup. I mean, thinking about this week, perhaps what they are planning is not for now, it's for 2030. But will Spielberg release another movie in 2030 about aliens? Will the media, all those press conferences this week that we heard, they talking about, disclosure, species, will they repeat the same thing, or is it the moment now? So take a look at this. Let me play this video. This is a video of a commercial, Nike commercial for 2026 World Cup. You see the match, you see them playing right there, you know. Everything looks like a real match. The coach is on the side, he's kicking the ball. You see the stadium is full. There are flames everywhere, photographers, but it's our studio. This is our studio. Everything is green screened. So are they going to show some sort of, people? Because according to this lady, people will be dragged. This spaceship is going to be hovering on top of this stadium. And some people, some soccer players will be dragged into that, like abducted. But, this can be made 100% with AI. And with a stadium that's not empty at all, they have plenty of seats to fill in with people, fake people, CGI people or Project Bluebeam people, you know. So are they planning something like this? Are they capable of this kind of deception? Well, I tend to believe they are, because I lived through the Challenger explosion. I was young teenager, but I remember seeing the Challenger explosion. Big psyop. They got people to watch the launch, and they had TV on schools. Classes were canceled, all for people to see. The same thing in the moon landing. They had public people watching. Even in Central Park, I believe they had a stadium there. Like they had a outdoor cinema. People were watching. The same thing at 9/11, they gave time, all the news. I remember I used to watch MTV a lot during 9/11, and even MTV at that time, I never saw them show anything but music. They were showing 9/11. So are they planning something similar at this time while people are watching these games, 4 billion people watching, like a mass hypnosis, you know? Could they be doing this? So let me share some more stuff. Let me go back to this slide right here. So they have this first June 24th, and then the next one important match would be July the 4th. So if you guys watch it in Independence Day, that's when the mothership, was hovering above the White House. It was on July the 4th. So if not now, will be they be doing on July the 4th? We don't know. So why Scotland and Brazil might be an important game? Well, Brazilian president is a top 30 degree Freemason, very well respected. He was with late Duke of the Prince of England. I forgot his name, Philip. You know, Prince Philip, and the Prince Philip was also a top ranking Scottish Rite Freemason. So he invited Lula there, gave him all the honors. It's a lot of things going on, Scotland and Brazil. Scotland is widely considered the cradle of modern Freemasonry, with documented lodge records dating back to 1599. Rather than evolving purely from social clubs, Scottish Freemasonry developed directly from the medieval guilds of operative stonemasons who built their country's historic castles and abbeys. And Brazil boasts the largest Freemasonry network in South America and the second largest in the world, deep ties to the nation's political history and independence. The movement operates through three main governing structures, each functioning as an autonomous system of lodges. The main branches and governing bodies of Brazilian Freemasons included Grand Oriente do Brasil. That's a French branch of Freemasonry. Now, I did go to the Disclosure Day IMDb page. Whole bunch of one-eye symbolism there. See the Sinai, Disclosure Day, One Sinai. All those are from the Disclosure Day IMDb website. Symbolism. Always the one-eye symbolism right there, Disclosure Day. And I got this from the IMDb, the Disclosure Day website. What are they trying to say to us? Is this what they are planning to do? Is this 2026 World Cup the moment they will uh, finally reveal their plans? This is from the movie Men in Black. Same thing. There was a Super Bowl, and you see the spacecraft approaching right there. So are they planning something like this? Are they preparing these people for such thing? You got to understand that these people do not play. Even the players are not there to play the game. They got a mission. This is the two top soccer players at the moment, Cristiano Ronaldo, Neymar. You see the symbolism on his hand right there, one eye symbolism. And the way he celebrates every time he scores a goal, look there, the Baphomet boy, if you look at the boy there in the Baphomet, that's how he celebrates the goals, when he celebrates the goals. And he was recently in the White House with Trump. He got the golden key from Trump. And that's Neymar, another, you see the secret, not so secret handshake there, but, familiar. If when you know, you know. So these two will be the stars, are the stars of this World Cup, and of course, many others are. You know, they are not there to promote the game. They are there to promote whatever they want to. This is another clip from a music video. You see there during the World Cup, soccer players or fans being abducted. You know, everywhere, people watching the game or inside the stadium, soccer players. So we got a lot of subliminal messages or predictive programming concerning this event. What you guys think? You know, I am just as uh, you know, questioning this stuff as many of you might be. We that since I have, now think that we are in Satan's little season. 2026 is an important year. That's why they're celebrating the 250 years of the Statue of Liberty. That's Satan, that statue of Satan is not really the Liberty, Lady Liberty. You see the chain, broken chain on one of its feet, one of its foot, sorry. So what you think, guys think? Time it seems that I got a point here, like it makes sense. Because, this is the moment. They have been planning this for so long. We have watching movies, we have seen, and if they don't do it now, while 4 billion people watching this stuff, are they planning to do it in the next one, 2030? I don't think so, because it's gonna be like the change they want to do it. They don't want to wait for 2030. All the economic collapse. Because if they remember a couple of weeks ago, I did read about the banks. What will the banks do once this whole alien disclosure come to light? When they say, yeah, it's real, they're gonna start changing immediately. If something like this happen, like if we are watching and the game is gonna be 24 on Wednesday in the US, it's gonna be early morning here in Japan, 7 a.m. If you're watching these games and you see that on TV, just like I don't want to play the trailer again this week. I played last weekend from the movie Tomorrow War because I got some like copyright stuff. But you can watch Tomorrow War's movie trailer on YouTube, the World Cup scene. If something happened with 4 billion people watching, you can imagine how traumatic that's going to be and how the changes will take effect immediately. Next day, the banks, you know, the it's going to be economic collapse, everywhere. And as I remember, as I've been following these press conferences, those disclosure press releases, if I'm not wrong, Trump or one of his cabinet said that in the next, from now to the next 90 days, everything's going to change, you know. And he said for the next, 30, 60, 90 days, everything's going to change. So for a quick change, they've got to do something dramatic, just like they did during the 9/11. Things started changing immediately. The Patriot Act immediately. So they got everything ready. The Patriot Act was ready like years. They were just waiting for the moment. So they do have everything ready to go. And once they make this stuff public, like once they get the masses to believe, then it's easier. Everybody's gonna go along. Now, why are they trying so hard to unite the nations against this one enemy? Well, I think that the big deception that the Spielberg was saying here, let me find it, the poster again, he was saying here, okay, let me go back. The big deception here for Christians is like people are waiting for the uh, rapture or that Jesus is coming back. No, these pastors who are sleeping cells, they will come out and say that nothing that's real, and that's going to be a big disappointment. So he's going to rally the churches. These people are going to say, "Oh, you need to fight the enemy, which is the aliens." You know, and if you don't know that the earth is flat, like we know that there is a firmament, you're going to fall for that. That's why 99% of those pastors are not preaching flat earth because they are playing along with this big deception. Big deception. So I don't know. I'm just like you guys, but I think they are rallying people to be united, not because a rapture is coming. It's because at certain point, this floating city called New Jerusalem, which is somewhere they sometimes call it I3 I3 Atlas. You know, they being like spotting this stuff. They call it in space. Sometimes they say it's larger than Manhattan or New York City, and they've been tracking, change direction. At some point, since we are at the very end of Satan's little season, at a certain point, this floating city, which I believe is the New Jerusalem, will come down to earth and land, in my opinion, at the North Pole, which is the right place. That's when they're gonna say it's a space, a mothership, something, and rally people, nations to attack. That's my opinion. That's what my conclusion after thinking about all that's going on. So there's one more video here that I want you to watch. Actually, two. First, this guy, he's not a flat earther. He's from this website called Museum de Tarot. The thing I like about that is that he sells some books that have been banned, but he published those books just like the flat earth books from the 1800s. So a lot of the technology they are using now to mind control people into this fake staged alien invasion comes from those documents, the technology they had in the 1800s. So take a listen to this one.
Isn't it funny that Spielberg Steenwitz is pushing that in his new Disclosure Day, normalizing the idea of somebody's nervous system being hijacked, acclimating you to the idea of somebody having their nervous system controlled by an outside technology and them speaking in tongues. Isn't that an interesting thing to put out there, get people used to, and have them think that it's aliens and not some technology? They need to program you a certain way to think about it, to think that it's aliens or entities or demons or whatever, and not a transmitter. You're seeing this narrative being put out right now.
I have heard some people who watch a Disclosure Day telling that we should not watch it because it's a mind control. They are programming people and they have some techniques applied in the movie that some people who watch are being either programmed or mind controlled, to believe this thing is real. And I'm going to read this paper that he was mentioning. I do have this, the screens here. Where is it? Right here. So dramatic test. This is from a book from the 1800s, which he published. So dramatic test, actually, it's based on the technology of the 1800s they had already had in place, but they used the technology in the 90s. So dramatic tests of the distance total control over the mind and behavior of a person performing an intensive technical task, flying operating an aircraft as a weapons platform, were conducted against Captains Button and Svoboda in 1997. A third test against Captain Hess in 1998 demonstrated total control of the autonomic nervous system as well. Those dramatic, I cannot say this word, I guess, were deliberate, high profile stimuli to see if our own intelligence analysts knew anything about psychoenergetics yet. The answer was a very resounding and clear no. They are still ignorant of that area. They are very determined to remain ignorant of that area. Hence, the nation is still deadly vulnerable to use of such weapons and effects. Again, because our nation is so totally vulnerable to mind war conversions and fractional conversions, the US crash program of utmost rapidity to catch up in that area under a presidential decision directive is urgently required. For example, on his customary morning exercise jog at a military post in the US in March 1998, Captain Gordon Hess suddenly veered aside, sat down, took out. So he uh, redacted here. I think he probably took his own life. Simply became non-functional and toppled over. In short, total control of even the deep autonomic nervous system was demonstrated resoundingly. The purpose of the test was twofold. One, to demonstrate instant conversion and total control, including of the autonomic nervous system itself, and stimulate and ping US intelligence to see if they knew what was going on, what had been tested, and why. Both purposes were achieved. The test went perfect, and the US demonstrated it was totally asleep and totally ignorant of such technology, and even of the technology's ansatz. Indeed, by order of the US Army, 2 days later, front loaders dumped 2 tons of dirt on the death scene, effectively hiding any further evidence. Um, One more, added to assure that great economic collapse, there will also be a sudden and massive collapse of group ordering and coherence, induced, induced by massive conversions of sleepers, sleeper inserted conversions, and fractional conversions. By sudden switching conversions of massive numbers of key persons whose behavior instantly and dramatically changes all over the map, the order and coherence of any important group can be and will be devastated and lost immediately. Well, that's what he was saying about the Christians being challenged their faith, because many of the so-called Christian leaders will flip. They are just sleeping cells waiting for the moment they will come out and say, yeah, you gotta join us because it's all aliens, no God, no Jesus. Our police forces may suddenly begin attacking our populace, while crews manning and operating our ICBMs, nuclear subs, and nuclear bombers go crazy and erratically start firing at our own cities and at each other, and so on. A society that has suddenly erupted into total schizophrenia. Throughout the US and Canada, go will rather dramatically become no go, as our group coherence is lost and total chaos sets in, as in the two examples given. Right? This was the test conducted in the 90s based on technology they had in the 1800s. So some people believe they are using this stuff in this movie to have people either mind control or uh, uh, like preparing them for what is to come. So there's a lot of things going on right now. Is this the moment? Are they brainwashing the people? Say this is Satan's little season, still the very end, in my opinion. So are they rallying people or gathering people together against this common enemy, which is, not an enemy, but it's really our Lord Jesus Christ and his beloved city, the New Jerusalem. So, this is what I've been thinking about these past 2 weeks, since I've been listening, I've been following up what's going on. And I don't watch World Cup since ever I became, the flat I watch randomly one game here, one game there. But as I used to be before, like watch every game, waking up the middle of the night to watch these games. No, no longer. I don't do that anymore. But that's my opinion that they might be using this opportunity to install to this new world order, this change, the rapid um change, in everything, in reality, you know. So the banks will not function. Anything will not function anymore. So is this the moment they have been preparing for since 1947, since June 24, 1947, when the airman said that he saw the first UFO? Is this the very moment they have been preparing for almost 80 years? No, no, but they have been preparing, and they have been showing to us movies and even cartoons and books and subliminal messages, predictive programming. I don't know, guys. I have been thinking a lot, and I even spoke with, not spoke, I chatted with Flat Earth Reconnaissance, not Flat Earth Deplorable last night. I say, like, I don't know if I can take it because I have a weak heart, I have low blood pressure. I don't know if I can take watching a game and see something like that happen, Not because I know it, because I know it's not. I know that it's evil manifesting itself. It's evil taking over completely. It's the last days of Satan, and he is going to do everything he can to deceive more people. So I don't know. I'm gonna play one more video here, then we will move on to the second part of the show. This is about sports in itself, soccer or American football. It's all Freemasonic invention.
Both basketball and American football were created by Freemasons. James Naismith, who's credited as the creator of basketball, was a Freemason and part of the Lawrence Lodge number 6. He was a 33rd degree Mason and the most worshipful master of his lodge. Walter Camp, who's considered the father of American football, was a part of the Freemason-created secret society called the Skull and Bones. I have proved in the Skull and Bones video I did that a Freemason created the Skull and Bones, making it a fraction of Freemasonry. When it comes to soccer, to no surprise, it's exactly the same as the other sports. The Freemasons were behind the creation of soccer, and I'm going to show you exactly how. Ebenezer Cobb Morley is considered the father of modern soccer, being the one credited with establishing the sport. Just like James Naismith and Walter Camp, Morley was associated with the Freemasons. Most people who watch soccer have no idea how rooted in Masonry the sport really is. Believe it or not, soccer was created in a Masonic lodge. On the 26th of October, 1863, 11 football clubs and schools from London met at the Freemasonic Tavern to form the Football Association and to agree on a code of football rules. Morley was in attendance and was awarded this plaque by the Freemasons for his importance in establishing the sport. The plaque said, "The Football Association was formed on the proposal of Morley at the Freemasons Tavern, which stood on this site. The modern game of football was born on this day, 1863, 26 October.
So, this is a sport created to uh, keep people asleep, distracted, and they're going to use it, for their benefit. Everything they do has a purpose. And this whole World Cup, no, no, guys, I'm just like, I don't know what to think about it. Like, are they going to do it now? Is it 2030, or this whole thing is just a psyop? There will never be Project Bluebeam, or I don't know. I don't know what to think anymore because it's very hard to know what's true, what's not. Since I've been studying more about the later season, I just learned that France, after the French Revolution, they renamed 2,000 of their rivers were renamed. So did England, you know, after the conversion from Catholicism to Protestantism, they renamed cities and rivers. So why the renaming? Why hiding the Millennium Kingdom, which I believe was in the past? They renamed the lands and rivers and cities and towns and countries. Why so many countries? Like why Persia is not Persia anymore? So many regions. are renamed. We don't know anything. Everything is, especially in the last 200 years, everything pretty much alike. So I'm going to move on to the second part of the show, and I want to talk about this whole, again, the whole TFE and more liars, more liars. And I know Samantha is here. Samantha, thanks for being here. Welcome to the show. Of course, you're always welcome. And I understand your point when you think that Josh, the flip-flop Josh, might just, we need to pray for our enemies. I understand. We do. We do, Jesus ever pray for your enemies. But these people know what they're doing. They're not innocent. They are, they are not uh, doing this because they are innocent at all. Okay, let me go ahead and share this first, and then I'll play a song later. Perhaps we just play one song today. I don't know. So Jaron is back, asking for money. This time he's asking for Globers. He has a new source of income. He's asking Globers for money to try to prove the globe. Okay, so you have all those three, all of them. $68 million a day from NASA is not enough. You need to give them money so they can prove the globe. Because actually, 500 years, they still cannot prove the globe is real. They still need, money, your money, to prove the globe. So here is just Monday. He knows what he's doing, okay? This is not an experiment. They're going to do an observation. And that's not at all an experiment. So he knows all the words are chosen. So that's how he gets more money, by deceiving the people. So he is a deceiver. So he needs to be exposed. That's the reality. He needs to be exposed. So Flat Earth Deplorable, share with me. Now, this has nothing to do with the message. I placed this thing here from the University of Nebraska. It shows us that to get the elevation angles to measure the sun or the stars or the moon, we must consider a flat Earth. There's no other way. Even one of their own said that, had to admit that, perhaps that he didn't want to, but he had to. Listen to McToon.
You can draw a triangle, solve the triangle, and know the angle. You do a triangle on the surface of flat Earth, but we have to presume that the Earth is flat. If you're doing triangulation, you do a triangle on the surface of flat Earth, presuming flat Earth, you get then the distance of the angle to the GP. So you can draw it on your chart, draw a line there, and then you do it for all three, and you get your intersection. But we have to presume that the Earth is flat. We can do triangulation, but we have to presume that the Earth is flat. But if you're doing triangulation, you do a triangle on the surface of flat Earth. So it is actually triangulation. You can draw a triangle, solve the triangle, and know the angle. And so we can do triangulation, but we have to presume that the Earth is flat. But if you're doing triangulation, you do a triangle on the surface of flat Earth, presuming flat Earth, you get then I don't know.
That you have it. You got to presume a flat Earth. So the guys are there to measure the sun. You have to presume a flat Earth. So that's why I placed this next to the message. University of Nebraska, Edmonton, Canada, 53 degrees north, longitude 113. You need to presume the Earth is flat to get the elevation angle. If you go to Punta Arenas, Chile, 53 degrees south, longitude 75, you need to presume. This is from the website from University of Nebraska. They consider the Earth flat to get the elevation angle. So I'm going to read this here. This is from Jerani's, shared to me by Letter Deplorable. As above, so below, the first leg of my trip starts tomorrow as I'm off to 53 degrees north with Josh Monday or flip-flop Josh to Edmonton, Alberta, Canada to make some observations. Then in December, we will be traveling to 53 degrees south to Punta Arenas, Chile. So-called truthers absolutely against observations with no desire for truth. They say the sun doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because you need to consider Earth is flat, whether you measure the sun, the moon, or the stars. This is how bad flat Earth has become. If one model predicts and explains our observations, and the other model predicts and explains none, which do you think is correct? So, of course, Flat Earth wants to disregard sky observation because they falsify Flat Earth. Well, the ball Earth falsifies the ground because you measure the sun, the moon, the stars, consider the Earth is flat, but they say the Earth is a globe. I make no money on YouTube anymore, so I'm hoping that you guys will help with the trip. I am about $650 short. We greatly appreciate any help. You can go to. So here's Jaron asking for money. And if you're just another sad, disturbed, angry, and hateful so-called Christian who ignores the Ten Commandments and chooses to lie about me at every opportunity, good for you. Enjoy yourself. Have fun dressing liars and retards like Banjo, who has lied about me for 18 months straight. The guy can barely speak. Remember, he said they would fake the sun by driving it along the horizon on a snowblower to fool Austin I. Keep believing retards like Banjo, his Velcro shoes. So, I mean, I can barely speak English, but I'm not a sellout, Jaron. I can barely speak. I can do hand signs. Yeah, I can be blind, but I'm not a sellout. And as far as this part here, this guy, uh, remember, he said he would fake the sun by driving it along the horizon on a snowblower to fool Austin I. So, where did I first heard they were faking the sun? They were going to fake the sun. Well, it was on Glowbuster. Who said that? Jaron. Let's listen. That's Jaron speaking right here.
Now, I'm going to sound crazy here, but we've also seen NASA fake a sun. They have a fake sun. They've shown it before. There's pictures of it. Look up NASA fake sun.
And they have a patent on it.
They have a patent on it. It's got a bunch of bulbs, and it's not out of the question to picture that there's these isolated spots in Antarctica, right? So there's these few bases or whatever. Well, it's not out of the question to think that they would throw a little balloon up with a fake sun and it go around. If you don't understand what this lie means to the higher ups, and you look at the fact that somebody gets $52 million a day, that it would be very easy to conceive. They've got balloons they can put up with 8,000-pound apparatuses that stay up for a year. So if that's that easy, this is easier than that. You put up the fake sun for 6 months or 3 months, whatever it needs to be, and you program it to go around that base where those people are. Now, somebody who's just a scientist or somebody who's just going there for a trip might not know the difference. They might look up and see the bright thing and say, okay, that's the sun. So, I mean, in my opinion, that's even not out of the question that they could be faking the sun down there. It's that important. It means that much to them. Otherwise, that would give up the whole secret.
God said.
All right, that's Jeremy himself. He himself said these words. So that's where I got this whole idea that they were going to fake the sun, because Jeremy is the one who first said it. And right there, you go to the website, LLD Solar Simulators, right there. There was one on sale recently on an auction. And can it be put on top of a truck? Of course. This is a snow truck, a real one, for Antarctica and the Arctic. So can one sun simulator be put on top of a truck like that? Of course it can. It can be put and can be placed on the horizon. And that's what I said they would be doing, because I trusted Jaron and Austin. I thought they were legit. But instead, all they did was to use Adobe, After Effects, two programmers there, and the sellout Jaron. I came across a live this week on TikTok where they were talking about TFA, and one of the guys said that Jaron, when he got back from Antarctica, he got a $40,000 check from Will Duffy, which I believe is just like the second installment. He must have gotten one a year before or 6 months before. As a matter of fact, in this video that Jaron was talking about the Sun Simulator, it's almost like a revelation of the, what do they call? Revelation of the method, because he goes in details. And that video is from 2018, 2019. It's still online. I'm not going to see the website right now, the channel, because they are going to use me in their mockumentary at some point. And I'm waiting for that because I'm going to show Jaron's saying exactly what I said, because I heard from Glowbusters, and Jaron was the one who was saying this whole fake sun, on a truck or on a balloon or something. Yes, I heard from Jaron himself. So you see, all these guys and deceivers, and I understand some why you might feel like we should pray for Josh, whatever. You should not be playing songs about him. No, he knows what he's doing. He's working with deceivers. He may be one of those sleepers. He demonstrated he was. And as this whole fake alien stuff is going to come forward, we will see more of those fake pastors, coming out and revealing who they are for real. Let's play our first song for today. It's almost 1 hour into the show, but let me go with let's choose a song here that I haven't heard in a while. I think I want to play this. Sorry, guys. Trying to find the song here. I'll just play the CIA.
I'm curious about the CIA because most people think it exists to protect national security, and that gets said a lot. But I wanted to know who's security exactly and whose nation. During World War II, the US built its first spy agency, the OSS, not with soldiers, with Wall Street lawyers. And they built it around one idea, that what's good for American businesses is good for America. And when the war ended, Congress shut it down. 2 years later, the same guys started the CIA. Same people, same mindset, new name, secret budget. And this time, almost nobody watching them. After the war, Truman said don't bring over Nazis who were criminals, and the CIA brought over 1,600 of them anyway. Scrubbed their records, gave them new identities and American careers. They called it Operation Paperclip, the most famous being Werner von Braun, who ran the Nazi rocket program, using concentration camp prisoners as slave labor, and then became the father of NASA and got a crater on the moon named after him, which does seem like a successful rebranding. Ran the CIA from 1953 to 1961. His brother was running the State Department at the same time, and both of them had personal financial ties to the United Fruit Company. So when Guatemala's elected president tried to give farmland back to his people, and that United Fruit claimed the CIA did a coup, 200,000 Guatemalans died in the civil war that followed, and United Fruit kept its land because apparently that's what we were calling national security. When McCarthy tried to look into the CIA, Dulles broke into his Senate office, fed him fake intelligence, and ran the story through Operation Mockingbird, a network of journalists on the CIA payroll, at 25 American newspapers and wire agencies. And when the press still got too close, they just wiretapped the journalists directly 24 hours a day and kept a list of every senator, every White House aide, every Pentagon source who was still talking. That same playbook ran in Iran, Chile, Nicaragua, the Congo, and Afghanistan. Elected leaders removed friendly dictators, installed rebel armies secretly funded. And when Congress specifically voted to cut off contra funding in Nicaragua, the CIA sold weapons to Iran through Israel, took the money, funded them anyway, and flew drugs back on the same planes, which is efficient, I guess. From the very beginning, the CIA had a secret arrangement with Israeli intelligence, run for 20 years by one man, James Angleton, who was all supposed to be the person protecting the US from foreign spies. And when he died, the heads of Mossad and Shin Bet gathered in secret in Jerusalem to lay a memorial stone that reads in memory of a dear friend. When many of this got looked into, the same people kept coming up. The CIA planned the Bay army of pigs, invasion of Cuba. Told Kennedy it would work, it didn't, and Kennedy fired dolls for it. Then told the people around him he wanted to splinter the CIA into 1,000 pieces and scatter it to the winds. He was assassinated the following year. Lyndon Johnson appointed the man Kennedy fired to lead the official investigation into Kennedy's assassination. George H.W. Bush ran the CIA, then helped run Iran-Contra as vice president. Then as president, let everyone off the hook. His attorney general, William Barr, told him to pardon them all. The same Barr used to work at the CIA, whose father, Donald Barr, served in the OSS, hired a college dropout named Jeffrey Epstein to teach at an elite school without a degree, and wrote a science fiction novel about elites keeping humans as sex slaves. And William Barr came back as attorney general the year Jeffrey Epstein died in a federal jail with the cameras broken and the guards asleep. So just to recap, Wall Street lawyers built a spy agency and called it National Security. 1600 Nazis got new American careers and called it science. The CIA ran a media network to control what Americans believed and called it tribalism. They did coups on 4 continents for corporate interests and called it democracy. They ran weapons and drugs when Congress said no and called it off the books. And the same families have been running and covering for it for 70 years and calling it public service. And now the Epstein files are out and half of them are still missing or heavily redacted, and they're calling it compliance. Oversight is being dismantled and they're calling it efficiency. And the people asking questions are being called the threat. I'm just curious how many of the things we were taught to believe were written by the same agency we've been funding our entire lives without being allowed to know what it does. Know what it does. Know what it does.
All right, great song. A whole bunch of story put into a song. That's very cool. I got it from TikTok. I don't even know who put it together. All right, just closing this part and then move on. Still going to talk about the Millennium Kingdom. This is the end of a message by Jaron, but let it be known that Earth will never be flat. You will either listen, learn, and come to understand that we were wrong and live on a sphere, or you will die believing a lie. Please, I beg you to not teach your children those lies, hurting their future with each day you continue to push undemonstrable false reality. That's the guy who, for 10 years, uh, grifted money from flat earthers for 10 years. That's the guy right there. He switched sides. He hates us. And I understand Samantha, but I had a really hard time, like Josh really uh, surprised me that he is working with these guys. So, so let's talk about the Millennium Kingdom and why I think it's the end of Little Caesar. First of all, Jesus. This is from the Dutch peasant video. I just took a screenshot of all the biblical passages where Jesus specifically says he was going to come back to that generation, not now. Okay, Matthew 16, 27, 28, and Luke 9, 26. For the Son of Man shall come in the glory of his Father with his angels. There will be some standing here which shall not taste of death till they see the Son of Man coming in his kingdom. Mark 8, Son of Man come in the glory of his Father, the holy angels. There be some of them that stand here which shall not taste of death till they have seen the kingdom of God come with power. Revelation 1:7, Behold, he come with the clouds, and every one shall see him, and they also which pierced him, and all kinds of the earth shall wail because of him. So I haven't pierced him, you haven't pierced him, nobody alive today has pierced him. These are the people who were alive when he returned. The gospel was preached in all of the world. You can check Romans 10:17. It 16:25 and Colossians 1:5. Several times here in Revelation, I come quickly, I come quickly, I come quickly, I come quickly, I come quickly. Matthew 24:15, Jesus prophesied to his disciples, when ye therefore shall see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel. So they saw the disciples at that time, not us. When ye shall see all these things, know that it near even at the door. The last one, Matthew 10:23, and when they persecute you in the city, flee ye into another, for verily I say unto you, ye shall not have gone over the city of Israel till the Son of Man come. So this whole idea that Jesus hasn't come yet, it's got 2,000 years, it's not from the Bible. It's from from so-called church fathers who perhaps never existed at all. All that stuff is given to us by the Vatican anyway. Shout out to uh, Victoria. She shared this, no church age. They added this gap of 2,000 years here in the between 69 and 70 week. And this is done in the 1800s, just like all the deceptions done in the 1800s. So the darkest year in history. So as you see in Revelation 6, when the mountain is cast into the sea, that was Mount Vesuvius. And then the other stuff that happened, and I think my position today is that they all happened in the first century, including this thing here that history places in 536 AD. My opinion, this happened in the first century AD. Studies and archaeologists broadly consider blah 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 to be the absolute darkest and worst year in human history. That's when the sun went dark for 18 months. The disaster began when massive volcanic eruption injected millions of tons of sulfate aerosols into the stratosphere, heavily dimming the sun and plunging temperatures by 1.5 degrees Celsius, 2.5 degrees Celsius. So the darkness, Byzantine historian Procopius documented that the sun shone without its usual brightness like a perpetual moon for an entire year. Famine. So everything you see in the book of Revelation had happened. Famine, the sudden temperature drops caused crops to fail across the northern hemisphere. Snow fell in the summer in China, and Irish chronicles record a failure of bread. Plague, the resulting malnutrition left the population incredibly vulnerable in 541 AD. This extreme climate period culminated in the outbreak of the Justinian plague, bubonic plague, which wiped out up to half of Eastern Roman Empire's population. So in my opinion, they added 450 years right there. This did not happen in 536. It happened in the first century AD, just because it describes exactly what's written in the book of Revelation. So what happened after 1,000 years? 1936, according to the fake calendar, 1536, matters of the end of the Middle Age, the Lutheran Reformation, and the transition to the Renaissance in many parts of Europe. The shift from medieval times to early modern history was a fluid process in regions like England. Political upheavals such as Henry VIII's dissolution of monasteries, as they destroy a whole bunch of church history and the documents pertaining to the Millennial Kingdom. The myth of George's opposition to heliocentrism, Copernicus did not hide. The false myth that the church's opposition to heliocentrism, not only did Copernicus not keep his ideas secret, but he was sponsored by popes and ecclesiastics. 1533, it all happened around 1,000 years after the darkest day. And the Celestial Battle of Nuremberg in 1561. Everything happened 1,000 years from the darkest day, And in my opinion today, it all happened in the first century AD. We had the Millennial Kingdom. And how long is this Satan little season? Well, seems like half of the time of the Millennium Kingdom. If the Millennium Kingdom was 1,000 years, seems like the Satan's little season is half of that, because it seems like it's coming to an end right now, and they are, throwing some celebrations. That's my opinion. Okay, by what I've been looking, researching, and that's where I stand today. As far as I don't know, they call it. I forgot the study of the end times. I forgot the name, but that's where I stand. I'm not saying these things are going to happen. I'm researching, and Project Bluebeam. They've been talking for. I came to Flat Earth in 2000, end of 2015 on Christmas, actually. By 2016, I opened this channel. Been here for 10 years, and I've been listening about this Project Bluebeam from since that time. And the more I studied, I see that they've been doing this for 80, almost 80 years. For some reason, they're spending resources, money, time, TV programs, shows, and everything for something. This whole alien disclosure, which are not aliens anyway, just people, evil people, working behind the scenes, just like in the movie The Wizard of Oz. I do want to share one more thing here. Let me open here. So I do have my book for download, free downloading. You guys can download. This website here, along SlideShare, has had 23,237,000 views, 60 emergency landings. All you gotta do is download. It's free. I have this book also on Dropbox. I don't know. I don't have the counter how many people have downloaded from this Dropbox. I have on Google Drive. I have links. I have people sharing. I have people having on their Google Drive. So I calculated about, I don't know, maybe between 40 to 50,000 people have downloaded this book. It's free out there. I appreciate the book is, was written for this purpose. I don't sell a lot for you to have an idea. $15 was sent to me by Lulu Press. This is equal to 2 books sold. Okay, it's $7.50 my profit per book. That's for the whole month of June, 2 books sold. So for those who think that I make money out of this, I don't. It's free out there. All the links are on my channel. You share. You can even print your own. If you want to print your own book, you can. I just ask you not to print for sale because I caught people selling it on Amazon. That's pretty unfair. But anyway, if you want to support the channel, please go to any of my videos and you can click on the links there. If you want to become a patron, it will be awesome, because I don't know, times are crazy right now. It will be awesome, but it's not required, guys. I've been here for 10 years. I only opened this Patreon for the past 2 years, or 18 months or 2 years or so. If you want to help out, become a patron, get one item from the store, and that would be great. But it's not required. It's appreciated. I do hope you guys have enjoyed the show today. I thought a lot. I'll be looking at this whole emergency alert in Brazil. What's going on? Why are they making the people go into panic attack mode, having heart attacks? What's going on? What's will they be doing anything during these games? I will probably be watching. That will be the first game of this World Cup that I'll be watching from the beginning to end. The World Cup game on Wednesday night US, Thursday morning here in Japan, between Brazil and Scotland. Don't know if anything will happen. Maybe not. 95% chance that would be just another game. But I don't know. We never know. If there are 2 games that I will be watching, would be June 24th and July the 4th. Because if they do anything, that should be in one of those 2 days. Because those days are special for them. Okay. No, I'll be watching, see what's going on. All right, guys, I appreciate I haven't kept up. So, Samantha, I do hope you understand. I understand we need to pray for our enemies. You know, but I don't know what to do because I sounded the alarm. We were able to get to see through the lies of those guys who took part of, TFE. You know, and I'm just sounding the alarm. Josh is a plant. He's a sleeper, and he was among us pretending to be a flat earther, but he is not. He is working with TFE. His whole bunch of, Duffy's. He's one another Duffy's puppet, and he's the new Jaren's sidekick now. So thanks everyone. I appreciate you guys for being here today. I hope you have enjoyed the show. I share my point of views, my opinions, and let's wait and see. Our hearts should be not troubled. I cannot promise that I'm not gonna have some palpitations if I see that on TV, because I know that they are not aliens. It's the devil manifesting itself. Thanks everyone, guys. I hope to see you back next week, and let's see what's gonna happen on this June the 24th. Okay, take care. Thanks a lot. God bless each and every one of you. Bye-bye.
Wonderful, magical, celestial light, fantastical, mystical, wonderful sight. Belgian Swiss physicist Auguste Piccard, 1931, first to reach for the stars, was the first to explore the air view stratospherius, a scientist curious to see what was there. An aluminium black ball on a helium balloon, hydrogen with portholes and instruments, sailed towards the moon, rose in just half an hour, 52,000 feet, 10 miles up, 10th air pressure, up a dead drop in heat and cold, but disproving gravity. Wonderful, mystical, beautiful sight, flat line separation of black from blue light, a world run by deceivers, false make-believers, hiding in shadows, stealing our light. Mystical, fluorescent light, wonderful, magical, awesome, yes, stealing our light. Wonderful, let there be light, supernatural, eternal, luminous. Up we go, higher than rainbows, higher than mountains, above cumulonimbus, higher than air, high level horizon, 360 around us, but right round behind us, any height that you dare. The sun and the moon both revolve above around us, to forever short time pass intelligently there. You'll never beat us, you'll never defeat us, no more you deceive us, keep the wheel like air. Kipper and Picard were the first ever known to reach up there. Divine luminescent light, mystical, wonderful, celestial light. So what was their eternal testimony? What did they report back to humanity? Said it seemed like a flat disk far as eyes can see, with an upturned edge fading into infinity. A mystical, ethereal, celestial sight, a divine creation, a clockwork of light, designed hid by deceivers and false make-believers, still cowering in shadows, still fearing our light. Here we go, higher than Everest, higher than airplanes, above zero cumulus, higher than air, a level horizon, 360 around us, no motion beneath us, no spinning, no stars of the firmament, time is all around us, to forever short time. when they reach for the stars. Explorers and physicists, Kipper and Picard. Never you'll defeat us, forever beneath us. We see through you like air.